I'm interested in your take on players who've tested positive or suspected of taking steroids. Should they be in the Hall of Fame?
Well, I mean, certainly they can be eligible. I mean, it's going to be up to the sports writers. I mean, if I had the opportunity, I wouldn't vote for them. But at the same time, some of the information we're finding out about these players was supposed to be confidential. So should we know or not? Now, I think the players that had the spoils of the game and did so well off of steroids had a great career. I'm sure they did well, broke some records. You know, they made a lot of money. They won some world championships. I think that's enough. I think the Hall criteria should not include that. But the problem is, it's so many generations that have been part of a drug culture. It's difficult to say who's actually on that list. So,
but if you had a vote, though, you would not vote for someone. You played with Alex Rodriguez. I mean,
right.
you wouldn't vote for Alex Rodriguez?
No, well, I wouldn't. If I have all this information, then I would say no. But you know, once again, it doesn't mean I don't believe they're a great player, and they're probably a great player before they got involved in steroids. The Hall, to me, is something. You're enshrined in a Hall. This is something bigger.
Are we seeing the powers numbers come down? What's been your view as far as the impact on the game now that the full testing is in place?
Well, I think it's made some deterrent effect. I mean, I think there's a positive. They'll always have to stay ahead of the curve because there'll be a new drug of choice or new something unless we make some huge paradigm shift about our approach. And you're seeing some pitching this year, but keep in mind the pitchers were on steroids too. So,
right, sure.
So it's kind of hard. Maybe they're actually now pitching knowing that they can't rely on 97 miles an hour in the 8th inning at 40 years old. So I think that may change the way people are pitching now.
Will we always find players trying to get that edge, so to speak?
Yes, you always will. I mean, it's part of the competitive nature, something you're doing every single day, center stage, spoils are high, career is short. Very difficult to expect people not to try to find some advantage, as that's part of being a competitor. Now, if we're serious about getting ahead of this curve, then it's really a paradigm shift. You have to get back to start with the young generation and talk to them about making different choices. And that's hard, but it's something that can be done. I think if the league and the players take ownership of it and say, look, we can start young and catch these guys early, you can sort of set the tone early on.